My brother stole $40,000 from my wedding fund, blamed it on a bad investment, and showed up to my wedding in a brand new truck. I smiled and handed him the mic for his best man speech. What he didn't know, I'd spent 3 months building the evidence. The cops were waiting in the parking lot. Danny and I were close growing up, closest out of 4 siblings. He was 2 years older, always the charming one, the guy who could talk his way into anything and out of everything. I loved that about him for a long time before I understood what it actually meant. When my fiancée Rachel and I got engaged, we decided to keep our wedding fund separate from our joint account, an old savings account in my name that I'd been putting money into for almost 3 years. Small amounts, consistent. By the time we set a date, we had a little over $40,000 saved. Nothing fancy, but enough for a real wedding with the people we loved. Danny called me in February saying he had an investment opportunity. A buddy of his had a small construction company that needed short-term capital. 60 days, guaranteed 12% return. I said no immediately. He called 3 more times over 2 weeks with more details each time, getting more convincing. I said no every time. What I didn't know was that I didn't actually need to say yes. Danny had helped me set up that savings account 4 years earlier when my regular bank was having issues. I'd forgotten, genuinely forgotten, that his name was still on the account from when he'd initially helped me open it. Joint account. His name, my money. I found out the money was gone on a Wednesday morning in April when I logged in to make a payment to our venue. Account balance, $214. I called Danny immediately. He picked up on the second ring sounding completely normal and said he was sorry, that the investment had gone sideways faster than expected, that he was going to pay every dollar back before the wedding. He sounded so calm and so reasonable that for about 48 hours I genuinely tried to believe him. Then Rachel found the truck, brand new, parked in our parents' driveway when we went over for Sunday dinner that weekend. Danny walked out of the house jingling the keys and said he'd gotten a great deal. I looked at that truck for a long time. Then I looked at Danny. Then I smiled and said, nice truck. That night I called an attorney. Here's what 3 months of very quiet, very patient documentation looks like. Bank records showing the exact withdrawals. 4 separate transfers over 11 days. Text messages where Danny described the investment in enough detail to establish intent. A conversation with Danny's supposed business partner who had never heard of any investment deal and had no idea who I was. Financial records showing Danny's down payment on that truck happening 6 days after the first withdrawal. I also, and this is the part Rachel still talks about, kept Danny as my best man the entire time. Kept him in the wedding party, answered his texts normally, had beers with him twice, let him give a toast at the rehearsal dinner where he talked about what a great brother I was. The morning of the wedding, I called the detective I'd been working with and confirmed everything was in place. Danny gave his best man speech. He cried a little, said I was his best friend, said Rachel was the best thing that ever happened to me, said he was proud to be my brother, all of it completely genuine, which is somehow the strangest part of the whole thing. We cut the cake, we did our first dance, we said goodbye to the last guests. Danny was walking to his truck in the parking lot when 2 detectives met him at the door. I watched from the venue entrance with Rachel's hand in mine. He looked back at me once across the parking lot. I didn't wave, I didn't smile, I just looked at him. He was charged with felony theft and fraud, pled down eventually, paid full restitution as part of the agreement which he